Good evening once again. I'm hoping all that need to be attending this training have joined in. I'm Fred, are all your people present?
Yes, Carol, the majority are here. I think we can start.
All right, then.
Okay.
With me, I have James Wasoti. He's the manager customer experience. And then I also have Patricia Ankunda. She's manager learning and development at Exquisite Solution.
Hello, my name is Patricia.
Hello, and this is James.
So the training today, as we had earlier sent out communication to you, is all about customer care. How do we deal with customers? How do we relate with them? How do we talk to them? How do we talk to ourselves? Because, I mean, we have the field engineers and the NOC. How do we communicate amongst ourselves? And I'm hoping at the end of this training, we shall all have gone away with very valuable lessons that shall help us build our career, personal and also career-wise. And I'm hoping we shall all be participating and not just listening in, because this is going to be a very interactive session. And I am hoping that we shall have the best of an experience from it. Before we begin, I would like to start with a word of prayer from Hakim. Hakim, can you please lead us in prayer, and then we can begin the session. Sorry, Harim, Chiberige. Harim, can you please unmute, and then we can start the prayer. It seems Harim is not available. Let's see. Okay, Chimili Henrico, please lead us in prayer.
Maybe anyone else who wants to chip in.
Guys, anyone else who can lead us in prayer before we start?
Chivumbi, Ronald, you can lead us in prayer, please, and we start. Ronald Chivumbi.
I will lead.
Okay.
Okay, let us pray. Dear God and Heavenly Father, we come to you this evening. We thank you for the gift of life you have given unto us. As we are going to attend this meeting, may you bless us, bless our ears, such that the words that are going to be spoken to us, they become food to us. In Jesus' name I pray.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much for the word of prayer. Once again, my name is James. I'm going to be one of your trainers today. Not a trainer, but I'm gladly going to say we are going to guide our discussion today. We want it to be more interactive because I see from the team the number of people who have very good experiences, so we can share knowledge and we see how we can have a standard that's agreeable to all of us. Yes, my co-trainer is going to be Patricia. She's going to lead in some areas in the discussions. Before we start the session, I know most of us are known to each other. but I can gladly see everyone's name here. And maybe for the sake of us participating, I will be mentioning names so that I can get to know your perspective. So I pray that you are very attentive, and please, when we mention your name, please don't sit back. Otherwise, we may presume that you've just logged on for the sake of attendance and you've actually not attended. So it's supposed to be an interactive discussion so that we are all able to learn from each other. Yes, now the training, basically we're going to look at 3 areas. One is around service mentality. The second is going to be around the 6 cardinal rules of customer service. And then the third one is going to be around elevating your professional image. I hope that by the end of the day, most of the areas that we got as training needs will be answered. Yes, just to kickstart our training, I would like to first ask these 5 questions, and randomly I'm going to pick out members to give us their perspective. 1, what would you like to achieve at the end of this training? It's basically we're going to look at customer service excellence, and the other one is around elevating your professional image. What is it that you'd like us to write down as your areas of interest, or what you'd like us to note as your objective for attending this training? I'm going to randomly pick so that we can get members participate. Yes. If you raise your hand, we shall be able to pick you out, but if not, I'll pick randomly. Yes, Deus, can you tell us what you'd like to achieve at the end of this training? Deus, Jackie Chan, Michael, please, what you'd like to achieve at the end of this training? Are you guys there?
Yes, we are here listening.
Yes, Deus, what you'd like to achieve? What is it that you'd like us to note as the area that you'd like to close today?
Like you said, both of the 2 points, I would like to have them achieved.
Okay.
Customer service and then this other point.
Okay, thank you very much, Deus. Michael, what is it you'd like to achieve? Yes, Emmanuel Otuku. Okay, you'd like to know how to handle a client who is very frustrated. Perfect. Someone else, Edema, God, Jesse, Isaac?
Me, like just like Emma said, I would also expect to learn how to handle frustrated clients, because they really sometimes they also get to our nerves and we sometimes get.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, you can put up your hands. We shall be able to pick you. Paul, Robert, what is it that you'd like to achieve at the end of this training? Are we there, Paul and Robert? Ronald Chivumbi, Fred Chisembo, please give us your perspective of what you'd like to achieve so that we can note them. Members, are we there?
Hello.
Yes. Yes, Paul.
Yeah, I hope at the end of the session,
okay, we are getting you. You're lost.
to handle the knock properly. That is it.
How to handle the knock properly. That is a little broad. Could you break it down for us?
Okay, like communication between the NOC and me or us, because sometimes we are under pressure and having outbursts with the NOC personnel there. So that is yes.
Okay, that is very clear. Paul, I know you're on road, but I would like to ask you, are you grateful for the job you have? Paul, are you grateful for the job you have? Yes, I can see you're responding. Okay, can someone else respond to us? I see Jesse, you're active. Please let us know. Are you grateful for the job you have? Are you proud of what you do as an individual?
Yes, I am grateful and thankful. As an individual, yes, I am.
What are you grateful for? What are those things you look up to for while delivering your work? What are the things
Especially
that
for
motivate you?
the things that motivate me. The skill set I've gained over the time I've worked on the network, and the sharing of the knowledge I have to other people who don't know, who I interact with every day and I work with.
Okay,
Yeah,
that is
that's
very good.
sufficient.
Thank you very much, Jesse. I would like to ask Fred and Ronald, if you were to be your own boss, would you hire yourself? Henrico, Fred, and Ronald, if you're to be your own boss, would you hire yourself? And if you would, what are those things you find you're good at that you bring on board or that would make you hire yourself? Ronald, please get in. Hello? You guys, are you there?
Guys, if we are not responding, shall we finish?
Yeah, we are hearing.
Okay, Edema, we asked a question. If you are your own boss, would you hire yourself?
Yeah, I do.
Why would you hire yourself?
Because I have all the skills and all the qualifications to achieve the target.
Okay, thank you very much. You have all the
Welcome.
skills and knowledge to achieve the required target.
Yeah.
Is that all?
Sorry?
Is that all that you have that would make that would make you hire yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, that is good. I'd like to hear from Luyima Godfrey and Rogers. Would you hire yourself? I know very on this team here you have your supervisors and the people you work with, and the only person you can lie to yourself is you. So tell us, would you hire yourself?
Hello, team.
Yes.
Thank you for this opportunity. Personally, 100%, I would confidently hire myself. Reason being, I'm passionate about what I'm doing. Secondly, yeah, I feel I'm so motivated, and I also feel I always deliver on it. So I would always hire myself, no matter. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. So if you rate your performance on a scale of 0 to 10, what would you give yourself? Yes.
I beg your pardon, I missed that.
If you're to rate your performance on the scale of 0 being the lowest and 10 being the highest, what score would you have? Based on your personal assessment.
On the scale of being low, oh,
0 being the lowest and 10 being the highest, what would you rate yourself?
as the saying goes, no one is perfect.
Mhm.
I would take a 9.9. Okay, 9 without point. 9 out of 10.
Wow, that is very high. Almost, it's a perfect 10. Then, okay, I will not ask you for your IPF or your score, but those questions, basically, I want to pose them to us so that we can gauge and see our levels of motivation. Deep inside, I'm very sure that some of us would actually be saying, I actually cannot hire myself, because you know what you bring on board and the attitude that some of us maybe bring. You see, some of these things you are getting them from the training needs that we have and from the feedback we receive from the clients. When the clients give us their feedback, and it's well collaborated with the feedback we have from between your fellow members, we are able to know the people who are actually happy or people who are fully engaged. So yes, those questions, I leave them to you. We are going to share with you this presentation so that you're able to also go back and go through it and you ask those questions to yourself. Today, we're going to look at about 4 areas that will guide us in our talk today. And the first one is around service mentality. When we talk about mentality, we are talking about your perspective. We're talking about how you see things and how you do things. Now, in order for you as a professional engineer, many times people think engineers are not supposed to deliver service, or they're supposed to be working in the back end. But now in our generation today, engineers have the need to speak directly to customers, and they have to speak to customers in a manner that speaks a lot about how they are groomed, how they are professional. And so this is an area that we'd like to introduce to you. One, around service mentality. Why is it that we are looking at service mentality? It's because skills and techniques are important in providing excellent service to customers, but they aren't the only keys to success. For us as Exquisite here, we look at the 7 traits that we believe are very important if you are going to be effective as an engineer. So if you look at the people within your teams that you look up to, the ones that inspire you, you realize that they are very strong when it comes to customer service delivery. Why is it so? It's because they developed or they learned those skills. And so for today, we are going to introduce some of those skills that you may be familiar with. But also because I would like us to participate, I'm going to ask each and every one of us, when we mention your name and you do not respond, it means you've not attended, and therefore you will not be able to read, and we shall note that as a non-attendance. So I'm going to ask each and every one of us to participate. I'm going to start with Robert. Robert, when you talk about empathy, what comes into your mind? What is empathy? And how do you show empathy in delivering your work? Yes, Robert Matu. Robert Matu and Otuku Emmanuel. What is empathy to you? Yes, please. Okay, that's very good. How does it feel when you go to serve a customer and you're not able to understand or put yourself in their shoes? How do you feel? Or if it was you, how would you feel? Mm. Okay, thank you. And finally, can you please read for us that first slide, end to end? Oh, are you able to see the slide on empathy? And right now? Okay. Ali, read it for us. Thank you. Don't you find that statement very true, the last one that you've read? Thank you very much. You've participated well, and I've taken note of that. I would like to ask another person, how would you display empathy to your customers? Thank you, Emmanuel. Opolot Daniel and Robert Mwitu, before I go to Matu, how do you show empathy to your customers? Opolot, yes?
Thank you for the opportunity. I've had cases whereby you go to a client and you're trying to attend to him, but he has several questions for you. What is the problem? What causes it? How does it come about? Now, like, in order for you to have peace with the client, you have to go low and try to explain to your lowest understanding what your highest understanding to make him understand. Because some of them ask, is the problem general? Why is it happening to me every 2 other weeks? Like he's having a bad feeling. So you try to show and explain to make him understand. That's maybe how I can show empathy to the client I'm attending to.
Okay, that's how you can show. And do you know why empathy is very important?
Yeah.
Okay, how? Why is it important?
It's important because you're able to leave a client and not frustrated like as he was. If you share that feeling and you show him that you have a feeling for him.
Okay, thank you very much, Emmanuel. That is very true. When you put yourself in a customer's shoes, it enables you to even think out of the box on how you can meet their needs. What is the danger of not empathizing with a customer? Still with you, Opolot Emmanuel.
I beg your pardon?
What are the dangers of not empathizing to a customer?
There's so many dangers. One, you may leave the client very frustrated, and some of them threaten, I'm going to leave this network, if people are stupid, if people are what, people want to steal our money. First thing is that sometimes you get compliance, as long as you not put yourself in the client's issue, make him understand. He tends to react so badly.
Okay, thank you very much. I think you've responded to me positively. Is it a promise you make that empathy will be a part of you in your service delivery?
Yeah, surely. I've always tried, but then I think this is an opportunity for me to actually aim higher in that part.
Okay, that is very good. I pray that I get positive recommendations after this training. Aluima Godfrey and Aluima Godfrey, please, I would like you to take us through what do you understand by enthusiasm? What is it and why do you think it is important? Aluima Godfrey and Rogers. Aluyima, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Yes. What is enthusiasm and why do you think it is important as a professional engineer?
In my view, enthusiasm is like, should I say, liking something so much or being passionate about something. You have that desire to explore and dig deep into any aspect you're dealing with. Can be, I don't know. I can use an alternative of being passionate to yearning, love that you guy excited to something like that. That's how I can
That's how you
explain
can see it.
enthusiasm.
And why do you think enthusiasm is important as a profession?
Well, it's important because first of all, it will make you to be self-driven. When you're enthusiastic about something, automatically you are triggered. You're anything, you don't need to be pushed around because you already feel something within your bloodstreams. You feel, yeah, I think we need this aspect because it brings about self motivation, and at the end of the day, you achieve what you want.
Thank you very much. And are you from NOC or from the field?
I'm from the NOC.
You're from NOC, and I'm very sure that you normally have those times where your energies are very low. Tell us, do you think the people you speak to at that time are happy with the service you deliver when your energies are low?
Absolutely no. They can't be. Yes. And as a senior engineer, sorry,
And I'm
as
sure
a
it has
NOC
happened to
engineer,
you.
as a NOC engineer, of course, even if you have other feelings, your energies are low. What the moment you are receiving a call from a client, you are seeing someone for a client or an engineer in the field, you have to make sure that you don't transfer that lowness of yours to them, because at the end of the day, it's impacting the organization.
That is very true. Kindly read for us this slide and you share with us your key highlights on it.
Which one?
The one that is on service mentality too.
Enthusiasm brings an observable high level of energy and interest to a situation. Exactly. That's what. So, should I continue?
Yes, please, till the end.
It can be shown towards your customers and your work. It's not widely over the top, but it's energetic. But it is energetic, positive, and openly expressed. Your enthusiasm influences your effectiveness in a service position because the appropriate enthusiasm determines how the world sees you as able or willing to help. Enthusiastic people enjoy helping others and show it with a positive attitude and high energy. Exactly. They enjoy proactive and going the extra mile.
Thank you very much. I like the energy that you're putting towards the end. There's a key word under enthusiasm, and that is the word proactive. The word proactive basically means your ability to look through yourself and find a solution without necessarily having to wait for something to happen. And that can only be done if you are enthusiastic. From our training today, we would like to remind you guys that your energy levels while you're at work is very important in delivering of work. Now, if your energy levels are very low, even the people around you would want to try and avoid you. Most of the times when your energy levels are very low, that literally means even the people around you want to avoid you. Or you are this person who will develop negative energy, or you try to pass the blame on people. So every day when you have a challenge of your energy levels going down, try and find ways of motivating yourself and making sure that your energy levels go up. A quick one. I would like to ask Tom and Aita. Tom, please let us know how would you motivate yourself and make your energy levels be up? Tom, please.
Yes, Chief.
Yes. How would you maintain your energy levels to be up? What are those things you can do? Or what are those things you feel you'd like to share with your friends so that we can keep our energy levels up? Yes, the question is difficult.
I think so. I'm really imagining how I would really answer the question.
It's okay. I'm going to ask you the next question. It is very okay.
Okay.
Yes, but let me go to someone else to answer for me that question. Jackie Chan and Sebi, tell us, what are those things you find we can do to keep our energy levels up? Okay, I think Jackie Chan is not there. Yes, Jackie Chan, yes, please.
Yeah, what can keep my energy levels up? Sometimes the situations you find you are the only one. That one itself motivates me to put my energy levels high. Uh, Secondly, uh, when you want to when you want to make sure it's you who has done it, that one itself puts my energy levels high. So to me, sometimes when I want to be example to others, I make sure it puts my energy levels high. And sometimes when I know at the end of it there is something that is going to come out, that one also puts my energy levels high. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Jackie Chan. I think you've pretty answered much of the questions that we asked. I'm supposed to play for you videos, but I realized that I'm having a challenge in projecting the videos. But yes, I'm going to play some of them so that we can be able to learn from the videos that we have. Still with you, Jackie Chan, I would like to ask a question around one of the service mentality, and that is around ownership. What is ownership to you? What does ownership mean to you as an individual?
As an individual, ownership is to me is ownership to me is the total control of something, of something that is within your powers. For example, you can own land, or you can buy a car, you can own, something which you have control over, and whatever you use it for, there are no questions about it. For example, if you buy your phone, you're owning that phone. Whether if they steal it from you, you will not go to Naserenga Henry to say, they stole my phone, as if it was for Henry. No, it is yours. So the total control of something, no matter how you obtained it or what, but if it is within your powers, and you can do anything with it, that's what to me I think is ownership.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm still going to be with you. Please keep online because you're going to go through this presentation. When we talk about ownership, we are basically reminding you as a team that the organization, Soliton, gave you the powers to operate on its behalf. Now, the question is going to be asked of you, how are you taking responsibility or ownership of whatever comes your way? That's a very important question. So every time you go to the field, ask yourself, am I owning the problems? Am I owning whatever the organization is putting across to me? If you find yourself answering in the negative, just know you're not actually behaving in the mind that would actually want you to operate in. Jackie Chan, please to close, please read for us that slide, end to end, and let us know the key highlights that you picked from that presentation.
Ownership is about having the commitment to solve a problem. It's the opposite of the mentality that says that's not my department and then shifts the resolution off to someone else. Ownership makes a clear connection with the customer that says, I am your partner and own this situation with you, which more effectively represents you and the company. It shouldn't take two people to give good customer service. Okay? It shouldn't take two people to give good customer service. Step up and keep ownership of the challenges that come your way.
Jackie Chan, you've read that statement twice. It shouldn't take two people to give good customer service. That speaks a lot to us that by the time the second person is coming to give good customer service, that means the first person has actually failed to deliver what is expected of them. And definitely,
Exactly.
yes, definitely, when someone else comes to do what you should have done in the first place, you're not helping the organization, you're not serving the customer. And I'm very pretty sure at the end of the day, you also feel frustrated because you're not able to deliver your work. So as a customer service person or a service delivery person, or as someone in NOC or maybe a field person, remind yourself every time you're leaving a customer that there is no need for someone else to come and resolve the issue. When you're able to do that, then that means you have lived on top of the service delivery mentality that you require of everyone who is working in a service environment. I thank you, Jackie Chan, and for the emphasis that you made. It shouldn't take two people to provide good customer service. Please, thank you. Still,
You're welcome.
yes. I would like to ask someone else also to participate. Romano and Gracious Damolida, please tell us about responsibility. What does it mean to you? Gracious Damolida, please. Romano, please. I'm sticking with you because I need you to participate also, so that it is all of us participating.
To me, responsibility means the duty or the role which is assigned to me to deliver the service I am assigned for. In simple terms.
Okay, that is very, very true. Tell us, why do you think responsibility is important to you as a service person?
Responsibility is important because it is one. It is the reason why I am brought maybe to deliver the service. It is through my responsibility.
Okay.
In simple terms, why responsibility is important? It's what rate my performance. It is through my responsibility.
What has been your major challenge as to why at times you may not show responsibility? What are those challenges you have that would compel you not to be responsible?
the challenges towards that affects my responsibility sometimes, maybe lack of the resource or tools that I am given to achieve my role. It's a challenge. Maybe just for example, today I'm supposed to resume work, but I had my car which was down, so it was a challenge to me to play my role as required. So there are many challenges at times we do face, which I cannot be able to remember them, but others do come, then just.
Okay, thank you very much, Romano. I'm still with you, by the way. Don't run away.
It's okay.
Yes, I know you're having challenges around your workplace, and yes, we encourage every member to speak up. I think this training is going to be one where we want to hear from you, so that we can see ways of supporting you to be able to deliver. This training was organized between Exquisite and your HR, and the purpose of it is basically to create a forum where we can learn, share ideas, and also pick out those issues that are pain to you in not being able to deliver. Please read for us that slide, end to end.
Responsibility involves living up to commitment. This trait relates just as easily to your co-workers as to your customers. In every case, it is critical that we live up to our commitment. Colleagues need to know they can count on each other to be on the time for a scheduled shift or meeting. A co-worker who can't be counted counted on disrupts everyone's schedule. I will unstress a chain reaction that can radiate outward until service mentality slips among team members. As they are saying as the saying goes, there is no in the word team follow. I don't through and dependability demonstrate a service mentality of responsibility.
Okay, thank you very much, Romano. As the saying goes, there is no I in the word team. Follow through and dependably demonstrate the service mentality of responsibility. What we're trying to say that whatever comes your way, you should be able to live up to your commitment. When you promise that you're going to do something or you're going to come to a client, you've already communicated, you've already committed yourself. Then we expect you to be able to live up to that commitment. Why is it important? Because we made a promise. You're supposed to be professional enough to live up to that promise. When you don't live up to your commitment or to your promises, then that means you're either going to break your team or you're going to let the customer down. And when the customer is let down, the likelihood of this customer complaining or becoming a problem or becoming a passive to your organization is very high. And guess what? They will easily find ways of going to competition. So thank you very much, Romano. I'm still going to ask other members to read for us. Thank you. As I scroll down, I see Fred Mugisha is around. Yes, Fred, tell us about adaptability. What's adaptability and what does it mean to you? You see, your work involves requires you to be able to adapt different situations. What is adaptability and why is it important to you? Alfred and Rogers, Malisere, please, I would like to hear from you. Fred, are you holding us back? Fred, please unmute.
Sorry, sir. I was actually talking but muted. In my understanding, very simple words, to be adaptable is to be able to allow or to be modified to take up a new role or new purpose. So to adapt is to change, to be able to adjust to a particular role, environment, etc. And why it is important is adapting. In this world, you deal with a lot of different temperaments. Human beings that have a lot of different temperaments. Environments that are not originally meant for our bodies. So being able to adapt helps you to fit in. And eventually, once you fit in, you're able to deliver and survive. So it is very important to adapt. Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you very much. That was a very, I think it's more or less the perfect description of what adaptability means. Now, our role as Soliton, both the NOC and the field requires us to be adaptable. Why do you think it is important? And could you share with us your experience where you failed to live up to this commitment and what happened? Let's be open-minded here so that we can help each other and then we can see. There are those times where you find yourself in a fix and you have to live up to this service mentality, adaptability. Share with us your personal experience.
Adaptability in regards to the work we do and life itself, I think it is broad. We've all had challenges where we're failing to adapt. From class board, from the classroom, teachers telling you something you're not understanding, you're not adjusting to the wavelength, is that to life itself. So we may not be entirely perfect, but it is something we encounter each and every day when you have to adjust, when you have to lower your ego to adapt to a certain person's thinking. You go with your idea of I am an engineer. This should be this, but the person may not even know English, doesn't know what you're saying. I believe this can be embedded as being empathetic, but you're also adapting. Adapt to his thinking, his wavelength, and listen. It will help you respond properly. So, and many other ways, but in this context of managing customer, I believe that it is accepting yourself to fit in with the customer, fit in with your team, adapt and understand who are you working with. This particular person in the NOC, how do they speak? Are they quick to understand? Are they quick to listen? Or no, he's slow or he's new in the NOC. Let me step back a bit. Let me fit in his environment. And I respond to him in a way that it will help him understand. Or you're going to encounter a senior who you don't have to waste time. He doesn't want you to waste time. Go straight to the point. What's the wavelength? A, B, C, D. How much power? So you also now have to change to their wavelength. So I think it helps us to fit in with the teams we work with and the clients we manage. Maybe that's how I would put it.
Thank you very much, Fred. Usually for such trainings, I give out chocolates, real chocolates, but since it is online, I don't know how I will deliver it. But you've made the point very clear for me. Thank you very much. Can you read for us that slide?
Okay. Adaptability is having an easy flexibility to deal effectively with different types of customers and situations. As your customers' base becomes more diverse, adaptability is crucial. Aging populations, language, cultural differences, related factors are challenges to providing excellent service. But people who are adapters are accepting and tolerant. People who are adapters are accepting and tolerant. Their mindset is evidenced by their ability to adapt and to respond and react positively. With the service mentality trait of adaptability, you will assist all of your customers respectfully and effectively.
What line makes more sense to you in that statement, in that slide?
I think a cardinal for me here has been the mindset. It was that excellent, but people factors are challenges to providing it, but people who are adapters, and no, it was with the service mentality trait of adaptability, you will assist all of your customers respectfully and effectively. I think that is it.
Yes, thank you very much, Fred. The word is respectfully and effectively. Remember that you as a service provider, you're dealing with different people. Some of them are coming from different backgrounds. How do you position yourself to put your ego down, like Fred said, to listen to this person who is speaking the broken English, who is heavily accented, who is slow to understand your concepts, who is old that you feel may not understand the concept you're bringing on board. Adaptability is key if you are to deliver to this diverse background of people. Thank you very much, Fred. As we proceed, we are going to the area of balance. I'm going to ask Camilla Emmanuel, please let us know what is balance and what does it mean to you? Service mentality of balance. What do you understand by it and what does it mean? What is your understanding and how does it apply to you? Camilla Emmanuel?
Yes, hello. I don't know if I'm audible enough.
Very
I have
audible.
a noisy background. Am I audible?
Very, very audible.
I'm inside. I have a noisy background, so I don't know if I've improved in when it comes to my speech, my sound.
It is very clear.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Yes. Good
When I
evening.
look at, if I'm to put it in the way I understand, the service mental, sorry, it's what balance. Balance. I feel like. How should I put it in layman's understanding? If I'm to bring it in the angle of weights, it's basically you as an individual making sure that how should I say it? How should I say it? If I'm to put it in terms of weights and service delivery, it's basically you as an individual. Maybe if you're the pivot or the center of service delivery, you're supposed to weigh both expectations. Maybe the expectations of the customer, who's the person that is paying for the service, and also making sure that they're also in line with the expectations of your employer. I don't know if it makes sense, but that's how I understand it.
Okay, that is very perfect. That's exactly what balance means in service delivery. And what we tell you is that you sit in between two aspects, the customer and the business. So yes, like you mentioned, your ability to weigh and make sure everyone is at the right balance is very important. Tell us of a time when you promised something and it was against the organization. What happened? Or where the organization did not feel like you did not put their interest into consideration. What happened? Has it happened to you before?
Yes, I think it has.
Share with us
it
your
has.
experience.
But it wasn't. The fortunate bit of it is that the customer was not a party to whatever was happening. It was just basically a misunderstanding between me and the organization. And this came to, I think it was in line of the company dress code and ethics when it comes to dress code. So, and the repercussions were heavy. I think I ended up writing an apology and apologizing and ensuring, committing myself that it's never happening again. That's the only situation I've been in.
And you've said it has never happened again. As I go and give you my thoughts on balance, can I read for us that? And what line in that presentation makes sense to you?
Which line should I? The entire slide?
Yes, end to end.
Okay. Balance requires the capacity to be successful at satisfying the customer while taking into account the resources and needs of your organization. Going too far either way puts you out of balance. Customers must feel they have been heard and treated fairly. The company needs employees to operate within the guidelines and practices. A secret to having balance is knowing that you can acknowledge the feelings of the customer, even if you disagree with the facts presented by them. Acknowledgement does not mean agreement. So acknowledge the feelings, move on to the facts, and address the issues.
Thank you. Which line makes sense to you?
The line of I think I'll look at the last paragraph of acknowledgement does not mean agreement. So acknowledge the feelings, move on to the facts, and address the issues.
Okay, thank you very much. Maybe I would like to give you the background of what balance would mean to us as staff of Soliton. You see, when you wake up every day, you have the responsibility to deliver on your assignments. And that responsibility falls in line of, one, balancing between the customer needs, and two, the needs of your organization. When you go either way, you take everything out of context. You see, as a human being, we have an idea that we always want to make sure that we win. Sometimes this win might come at the expense of a customer losing. If the customer loses at this point, it means the customer will not be happy. Take an instance. You know very well that you cannot deliver, say, service to a customer at a certain point in place. Say the customer is out of reach, but because you feel like you want to close a sale, or you want to generate maybe activity on your side, you will promise a customer that you're actually going to deliver that service. Then guess what? The customer pays, and the customer ends up getting frustrated because the other team says we cannot deliver. That means you've won, you've gotten maybe revenue, but at the end of the day, the customer has lost. And then two, you may lose, you may make a decision where the customer loses, and then it becomes a win. I mean, you lose as an organization, but then the customer wins. How? You've promised something that is actually not in the advantage of the organization. And that becomes a loss to the organization and a win to the customer. It's also possible that you can actually do what the Baganda say, chifiriza, where everyone loses. The customer will lose because you're not able to deliver service, and the organization lose because the revenue has not been generated. Ask yourself every day, is my decision in the best interest of the organization? The ideal would be a win for everyone, a win for the organization, and a win for you a win for your customer. So if it's a win-win, everyone will benefit. There are sometimes when you advise people, if it is not going to be a win for the customer and a win for the organization, please don't go into that discussion, because then you are not going to deliver what is required. So the service mentality of balance requires you to make a decision that is in the best interest of the organization and of your client. And when you do that, you are going to create a very happy network of customers. And remember, these customers speak out. And when they speak out in the positive, you get more points, or you get more referrals. Thank you very much for that contribution. Still, I'm going to pick out someone to guide us to. I'm going to ask Ronnie Nyombi to take us through the last area, and it's around resilience. What is resilience, and why is it important to you as someone who works in the field or someone who is working in NOC? Why is resilience important to you? I'm asking Fred, not Fred, had mentioned Ronnie Nyombi or Ronald Achivumbi. Please tell us, what is resilience and why is it important to you?
A good evening to you all.
Yes, good evening.
Thank you for the blessed opportunity. My understanding of resilience is the ability of a person to go an extra mile, not necessarily that they are not tired, or it is something that is inbuilt within a person, that irrespective of the challenges a person might face, but their ability to hold on and get the work done, especially if, for example, it is an assignment that has been given and it has a deadline, but your ability to fight on and have it completed, irrespective of the inconveniences that might come along. So that is my understanding, the ability to always push, to go an extra mile beyond what is expected of you.
Okay, thank you very much. That is one definition of it. I know very well that you handle clients. Some of them are usually very, very weird. True or false?
Very true.
So what happens in event you've handled a very weird client? What happens? Do you go on to give it out to the other customers?
Not really.
Yeah, but you see, this is an area that we keep fighting every day. I think I've met a number of people in service who, after they have been taken on by a client, abused or irritated by a client, they end up giving it to everyone around them. Do you think that is important to us? Do you think it helps the people around us?
I beg your pardon?
Okay. Many times you have been taken on by a client. Either a client who has been abusive, overly assertive. Yes, tell us about your experience and what happened and how did you overcome
it? In my case, I would say it might not be a client for the experience that I've had in that area. It was with some of the field guys. You call the person, like the client expects you to be giving them a timely update about a link they are working on as per se. Then you call the field engineer within the expected time for you to get an update, and the person gives you the worst of the response you would expect from the person, yet you used even a kind tone to get the update from them. This mentally would disturb me and be like, but in the actual sense, I'm doing my job, but even I didn't ask you in a bad way. So how I managed to overcome it is like the point of empathy. In my head, I was like, maybe this person has challenges, or they are tired because of working outside in the sun, or they are hungry even, because there are very many things that might cause a person to respond to you in a certain way. So I end up in that understanding, keeping the bad energy away from me, because the next person that I would call to get an update from wouldn't like to talk to a person who is already frustrated, so that I can be able to make them happy and at the same time share the update to the client as expected.
Thank you very much, Ronald. Kindly read for us that slide and let me know which line makes sense to you.
Okay. Resilience means having the ability to bounce back quickly from adversity. Resilience allows a representative to remain calm in adverse situations or recover quickly from crisis and not show discouragement. We've all had setbacks, both personally and in our daily work. We need to be able to bounce back emotionally and professionally and handle those setbacks while never taking out frustration on customers or co-workers. Basically, if I may say, the last paragraph made it for me, that in all things that we do, whether someone has talked to you in a bad way or you've had other frustration from other areas, let us always learn that the next people that we interface with, we don't bring the emotions that we've carried from our previous conversations to these people. So that is a pointer for me.
Okay, thank you very much. That was also crystal clear. Why are we talking about these things? We are trying to create and to remind ourselves of what is expected of us. When we talk about a mentality, we are talking about how you perceive things. Our perspective usually shapes how we do things, and how we do things eventually affect the results that we get. Many times when you see the results you're getting are actually not the results you desire, not the results that are helping build relationships. If you see the results you're getting not able to help in service delivery, examine those thoughts, you realize that you've actually missed a mark. Remember, resilience is one of the most important aspects. Balancing and making sure you get a win-win out of every conversations or dealings you have. Being able to bounce back from diverse situations, being able to adapt, taking responsibility, reminding yourself every day that it is your duty to do something. Taking ownership of every situation that comes your way is very important. Your energy levels and your ability to empathize with customers will define if you're an exceptional service provider or just a clown. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm reminding you that yes, tomorrow or another day, we shall get to see you in the field, or we shall actually have reports of you. We shall ask you, are you a service person or a clown? We shall get to know. As we leave this area, I would like us to get into the next area where Patricia is going to take us through, and this is the area around the 6 cardinal rules, the do's and the don'ts when it comes to service delivery. The moment you cross that line, that means you have now done things that are not acceptable in customer service. Patricia?
Thank you, James. Good evening, everyone, once again. Hello, are we there?
Yes, we are there.
Okay. From the previous presenter, I think we learned some introduction about customer service. These are things that I'm sure we all know, and sometimes it seems like it's a vague topic. Why would an engineer need to be taught about customer service? But you realize that nowadays, almost every department or every function or every workplace, we have to deal with clients. And for engineers, it's actually field engineers are actually interfacing, you're receiving calls. So it's now almost all of us are working with customers. So we need to know how we are going to handle. And then we should have it at the back of our mind that if those clients are not there, we don't have these jobs. If the client is not going to call to complain about internet and you're going to sit a whole month with no issues to resolve, with no fiber cuts, it means that we don't have jobs. If you're 10, the next day you'll find that you're only 5 because we don't have any client complaints. So we need to understand that it is the clients that are supporting our telecom that are going to pay us at the end of the day. So the 6 cardinal rules, like James explained, these are the no-go areas that if you're crossing it, like how we see we have a code of conduct in our workplaces, that if you break any of those rules in there, it calls for maybe a disciplinary action. So I'm going to choose one of us to read for us the introduction of that quote, then we can go ahead and dive in. I'm going to ask Chivumbi Ronald to take us through that quote, then we can dive in. Ronald, are you there?
Can I volunteer?
Please do. No, Ronald is actually talking. I think he's muted. No, he's unmute. I don't know, I can't hear him.
Yes, please.
Okay, kindly take us through that quote, then we can dive in.
Okay, the 6 cardinal rules of customer service. The quote from Colin Barrett, Southwest Airlines President Emerita, states that to earn the respect and eventually love of your customers, you first have to respect those customers. That is why, sorry, I beg your pardon, let me repeat again. To earn the respect and eventually love of your customers, you first have to respect those customers. That is why golden rule behavior is embraced by most of the winning companies.
Okay, thank you, Ronald. So I think we all get the golden rule. We have to earn the respect and eventually the love of our customers. Because if the customers do not love us and respect us, it is going to be very hard for us to retain them. It is going to be very hard for them to refer us to other people, that actually this person helped me, or maybe you can contact this one, or maybe recommend to join MTN or use our services. If we are not being loved by our customers, they're going to leave. So I think that is what we need to note at first. Our customers are the heart of the organizations because we need them. If we do not have them, it means that we are not going to thrive or to move on. So the number one rule, someone should read for us. I think Ondo Peace, kindly read for us the first rule. Peace, are you there? Peace, are you there? Okay, let's have Ronnie Nyombi. Should we assume that people logged on and are not on? They just did for the sake of attendance. Ronnie, are you there? Kindly remember to unmute when you're going to speak. Ronnie, Peace, no one is responding. Rogers. Hello. Can anyone volunteer? Because it seems these ones are not online. Ronnie, Peace, and Rogers. No one is responding. Hello, am I still on? Are you hearing me? Okay. All right. Thank you, Manuel. I think the most funny thing about customer service is how we recognize when we are not being served right, but we fail to recognize when we are not serving other people right. If you walk into an office, I think we've all complained maybe about some government offices that you walk there, no one will attend to you. If you're maybe looking for something and you walk into any place and then no one pays attention to you, everyone keeps on doing what they're doing, you go complaining. Those people did not serve me right. It's as if they couldn't notice me. But when it comes to us, we tend to do the same thing, but we find it okay for us to do it. So when a customer approaches you or whatever you are doing, people before paperwork means basically you drop whatever you're doing and first listen to that person to know what they want, to know what they are requesting for. Then you can proceed with the paperwork. The paperwork can wait, but if a person is standing maybe right before you or they have called you, whatever you're doing can wait, then you'll be able to attend it later. But at the moment, first deal with a person if they're right in front of you. So the first cardinal rule of people before paperwork, it calls us to have to put people first in service because we are serving people. This is customer care. We are dealing with people. So let's learn to first put people. If maybe you have gone to check on a connection at someone's home and they're trying to understand what exactly is the issue, sometimes you tend to just keep quiet and work through it and just walk away. So it is always important to explain to people step by step, this and this happened and caused this and this. But some of us will choose to ignore and be like, let me just do my work. You will not understand these things. So even if you're doing those connections, even if you're restoring it, it is very important for us to first listen to the people that are right before us before we proceed with the work that we are doing. So that's the first cardinal rule. That is what we must follow when we are in customer service. Otherwise, the people, when they feel ignored, like we read the quote before, they will not feel loved. If they don't feel loved and valued, they are going to choose another service provider. If they are going, then we do not have jobs. So let's learn to first put people before anything else, then we can deal with the other things. Then rule number 2, who is going to read it for us? Let me see. Opolos Daniel, are you on? Opolos Daniel, are you on? Please remember to unmute when you're speaking. Okay. All right, so I'm seeing Eman Rogers has just joined. Okay. Okay, Louima Godfrey, kindly read for us rule number 2. Apollo Daniel is on. Okay, fine. Louima, I think you read for us number 3. Yes, Apollo. Hello. Apollo, I see you're unmuted, but you're not speaking. I don't know if there's a problem with the microphone. Louima, kindly read for us rule number 2. Then Apollo, as he sorts the issue.
Rule number 2 says rushing threatens customers. I read the slide.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Sure. You may understand something real quick, but rushing the customer along will only lead to them feeling intimidated and you won't see them coming back to you. Take it easy. Remember, speed is not success. Trying to be done with the customer as quickly as possible is seen as being rude or uncaring. Take your time with each other and every contact.
Thank you so much, Godfrey. Have you had instances where we go to fix someone's maybe someone's internet and they tell us, no, I want to deal with the other person. I don't want to deal with you. Have we had those cases? Okay. Yes, Godfrey?
I beg your pardon, I missed that.
Have we had any instances where we've gone to fix someone's issue, maybe at someone's home or an office, but they tell you, no, I want to deal with so and so. Sometimes they might not reject you, but they ask for a particular person.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you.
I've seen it
So,
before.
all right. So this comes from possibly you've worked with someone and you feel they have understood you better than how anyone else will understand you. So when you're rushing customers, we are technical people, we are engineers, and the things we are dealing with are very hard for a layman to understand. Personally, I might not even understand the things you do. There's a lot of technicalities, there's a lot of things to work here and there, and someone who did not go into your field, they will find it very difficult for them to understand. And I know sometimes you are working from one customer to the other, you have calls, NOC is calling you, you have the customer calling, maybe you even have like more than 10 customers or even more to work on in a day. So we feel like, let me just go fix this person real quick and run to the next customer. And you don't take time to explain to this particular customer. So sometimes customers, especially you're going to find, I'm sorry to use this example, customers who are illiterate, if you come and use your language and do your things and walk away, they'll feel like womunyoma. I don't know if you understand Luganda. They'll feel like you are undermining them or underlooking them. Sometimes it could even be an easy thing, but because we deal with different people, because we are working with different customers, you'll find the way I understand is not the way Carol understands, it's not the way James understands. So if we do not take some time to understand the customer that you are dealing with, you're going to go fix whatever you're fixing, but they'll feel that they are not served because you're not explaining to them or you have not gotten to their level. James spoke about empathy. This now gets back to you understanding the kind of person you're dealing with and putting yourself in the shoes. And I'm also very sure that most of our parents, for example, the customers you're dealing with, you could find like most of our parents would still go through the same hassle for them to understand what you're doing. So let's try to understand, to take time to know the problem, to explain to the customer. Sometimes there's a lot of work and you have very many calls, you are very busy. But if we go and leave this bad impression, it is going to affect the experience of the customer. So as much as we are busy, we need to go back to taking time with each person. We are not saying you spend the whole day explaining. No, try and take time and make them understand exactly what you're doing. Because if you're going to run from one customer to another and they get this impression of this person is rude, they get the impression of the organization does not care about me, maybe I should get an organization or I should join a telecom that understands my needs, that one will leave a very bad impression and you're likely to lose that client. So as much as we have a lot of work to do on some days, I know it is very, very tight, but we need to remember this rule when we are serving our customers, that rushing threatens them. And remember, we deal with different customers. The understanding of one customer will not be the understanding of the other. So let's take time to know the clients that we are dealing with. And when we are serving them, let's keep at their pace a bit for them to appreciate it. So the rule number 3, and we go back to who was supposed to read. Was it? I think he's dropped off. Let's hear from Deus to read for us rule number 3. Deus, are you there? Remember to unmute. Okay, Opolot, you were supposed to read for us rule number 3. And you had dropped off, I think, network issues. Kindly read for us rule number 3. We're supposed to read number 2. I think Opolot has issues with the microphone because he unmutes and we can't hear him. So let's hear from Deus. Deus or Agre. Read for us rule number 3. Agre, are you there? Deus. All right, Ronnie? Yes, please, Agre.
Yes, company jargon. Hello?
Yes, please, we can hear you.
Yes, be very careful not to use your own company jargon on your customers. You and your employees may understand it very well, but a customer may not. And you will only cause a lot of unnecessary confusion. Spell things out for your customers. Do not abbreviate. Remember, do not use military language on civilians.
Thank you, Agre. Before you go off, I would like to ask you, what are those? Are you in knock or in field?
I'm on a shift knock.
You shift knock. Okay?
Yes.
What are some of the jargons that you have that you use in knock? That even when you say them now, I might not understand them.
Sorry?
Like some of the jargons that you speak that are acceptable and it's in your language, but when you say them right now, I can't even understand them. Do we all know what jargons are?
RFO.
Maybe RF, yes. ETA. RFO. FTTH.
FTTH.
Yes, yes.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Okay, so do you think the customers understand, for example, if a customer calls and like my internet is not working and you tell them, oh, your FTTH, let's see, do you think they understand it?
Not really, I don't think. Some may, and
some may,
don't.
of course, some really understand it and others do not.
Yes.
So how do you think a customer will perceive it if you make a whole sentence full of your jargons? How do you think they take it?
They might just be confused, not understanding what I'm saying. Just like you would speak another language around someone who doesn't understand it. That feeling, yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Agre. So the use of company jargons, first of all, will confuse customers, like Agre has said. You're going to confuse them, they will not understand what exactly you're talking about, and most clients will think you're actually undermining them. They're like, oh, me, I didn't go to school, that's why you're saying all those things. They will not be satisfied with, even if you help them, but they will not be satisfied with the level of service you're giving them. Then also, for customer service, I think we've talked about it before, you need to get down to the level of the customer and understand them. When they feel heard, when they feel understood, it is very easy for them to be retained. So when they see you talking those jargons, telling them RF, we said RFT, RFO, when they hear about things like FTTH, they'll be like, these boys, are they even understanding what I'm saying? So there's that miscommunication that is going to happen between you two. Sometimes you're even speaking about the same thing, but the customer will feel like you're not speaking about the problem that they are going through. Sometimes it even takes a longer time for the issue to be resolved because you're not speaking the language of the customer. Like that quote down says that, remember, don't use military language on civilians. So if you're using your languages and you're not communicating well with the customer, you're going to take a lot of time. The customer will feel like they're not heard. The customer, they're going to feel like they're being undermined. And then also there's that confusion that comes in, and the customer also doesn't feel you're down to their level. They'll feel you up there, and if they cannot feel that you're on the same level, there's that need for a customer to have that touch with the client, with the organization they are supporting, or with the telecom. So let's try as much as possible to use the language that the customers understand. If you're talking about FTTH, explain to them that it's actually the fiber to the home, it is the internet that they're actually using. Let's minimize the use of language that the customers do not understand. Because at the end of the day, these are the customers who will come back to report to us that they're the same customers that will come back to report to us, to our supervisors, that I did not get the service that I expected, even when actually you have helped them. So minimize the use of jargon, let it stay between you and your colleagues, but when you're speaking to customers, kindly remember. Then rule number 4, I see Fred's hand is up. I don't know if you'd like to add to this point.
Yes, Patricia, I just before we go to the next point,
Yes,
I wanted, because that point of jargon is a very big one, big problem for us, that some members of the team notice that the other person they are talking to is a bit youngish, or they maybe age mates. They decide to use slang. Things like, let me come to your gua. Things like, let me arrive. Okay, that could be correct English, but slang, I think, well communicating to customers. Some of those customers are your relatives, but we should remain professional. Proper English, not slang. Let me come to your gua. Something maybe slang. I don't know if that also applies under jargons, maybe personal language, or the way of speaking, but it's a big problem that customers may eventually feel that these people are over familiar in me, and you know what they say about familiarity to breed contempt. Once they feel like this is not the space for me, these people over know me, they undermine us, they talk to us the way they want, that could be another way for them to leave the business if they're getting some better professionalism from someone else. So also slang word, I believe, I don't think it's something we need to be using as we're running a business like this.
Okay. Thank you, Fred. Thank you so much. Actually, I think slang was also coming up, but thank you so much for highlighting that. So we are going to rule number 4. So who can read for us rule number 4? Enrico? Enrico, are you on?
Yeah, I'm on.
Yeah, thank you. Please read for us rule number 4.
The heading is saying, don't be too busy to be nice. The first line is saying, hey everyone.
Hey everyone is busy.
It is saying, hey, everyone is busy. That's what it is. That's what it is all about. Being busy does not give you, that word is very hard. Someone help me on those 2 words.
Carte blanche.
Yes, to be rude. Remember, you meet the same people coming down as you do going up. They will remember you. What's worse than being busy? Not being busy.
All right. Thank you so much, Enrico. I think in the last point we stated it, that sometimes we get too busy for customers. I know sometimes the work is really too much. There's a lot on your list. NOC is calling you. Maybe your supervisors are calling, the clients are calling, and it gets overwhelming. But even when we are in that busy schedule, let us try and give our customers time. Like each customer that is there at the moment, do not show them this attitude of, I'm very busy, boss, you're wasting my time. I need to go have other clients to work on. Actually, I think we've said that to clients before. Don't think you're the only one that needs service. I have other clients to work on. When you give the customer that attitude, it creates a very bad experience for them. So when we are busy, when we have a lot of work, try and deal with one client at a time and understand them without showing them the attitude of I have a lot of things to do. Because I don't think we'd appreciate the same attitude if we got it from other places. Imagine you went somewhere for service, whether you've gone out to eat or maybe you've gone out to shop, anywhere, and they give you this attitude of there are more other clients coming in, please. We don't have time for you. I don't think any of us would really like to be treated that way. So when we are serving, let us be able to be nice to customers, be nice to them. At least even if you don't feel like being nice that day, remember that that client is the one that pays you salary at the end of the month. And maybe that one will make you smile for them. So remember, what value do customers hold? If the customers are not there, you're not there. If you're complaining that you're very busy, what if that job was not there and you have nothing to do at the moment and you'd be home? So let's try and be nice when serving these clients. Let's try and put their demands first, understanding them, smiling. I know how our people in the science field don't like to smile so much, but let's try and smile when we are serving the customers. Because if you tell a customer that I'm busy, it comes off as rude. Comes off as rude, it comes off as I don't care, it comes off as even if you give us your money, we'll have people giving us better money. They're not going to feel valued. So let's try and be nice when we are serving these clients. Even when we have a lot of work to do and a lot on our plate, handle that customer right in front of you with some nice touch so that they are able to feel valued and understood and loved, like we first talked about it in our course. Also, when a client, if you want to tell to a client, if you want, like I've already said, if you want to tell a client that I'm very busy, let's have maybe gracious. If you have other things to do and you're very busy, you're having a busy day, and a client calls you, how do you respond to them? Telling them that they're busy, but politely. Let's hear from Gracious. Is Gracious on? Or any volunteer? Because the more we wait for them to respond, you're going to take more of your time. Any volunteer to tell us how to politely tell a customer that you're actually having very many requests on your table. Deus, how do you respond when
Hello.
you... Yes, please. Yes,
May I
Emmanuel.
volunteer?
Yes, please.
Me as per my past experience I've had with customers, I think there is always one general excuse that each and every customer will buy.
Mm.
The excuse of there's a general outage in the area there's a general outage in the area that is being created by a break on the backbone.
Mm.
You're going to be restored. If you don't get restored in such a period of time, so you estimate basing on how long you're going to take to resolve and get done with what you're doing.
Mm.
Then you tell the customer to call back and let you know if they didn't restore, maybe in 4 hours from now. I think the customer will try to be compassionate and understanding and patient, and believe that they are being listened to and they are being attended to.
Okay, thank you. But I hope as we try to promise the clients to manage them, we are not over-promising. Because we could end up over-promising things that we are not going to deliver, and that one is also another point to deal with. So when you're promising clients, please keep in the timelines that you actually know are official and the issue can be resolved. Because it doesn't look good for us to lie to the clients, only for us to manage them. But thank you so much. Okay, and then we go to rule number 5. Can we have a volunteer read this for us very fast? Abgar, please. Can we have a volunteer read for us rule number 5? All right. Okay, thank you, Emmanuel. Fred commented about the. Yes, please.
I'm sorry for taking you back, but
It
I
is
was
okay.
just here pondering. The issue of telling a customer you're busy, it is also another problem we face. I don't know
Yeah.
if someone has come up with a formula of how they can actually respond to a customer and they feel like this response is good, they will buy it. Because now there are multiple times customers call the field engineers directly and their tickets have not reached us through the ZTE knock or the client's knock. So the FEs on the ground don't have their tickets. I don't know how you can respond to such a customer so that you don't sound rude and they also feel like, okay, I get his point. Let me wait for what he has advised me to do. I don't know if someone has found a way of responding perfectly. If you have, maybe you can share here before we lose that point.
It's okay, Fred. I'll come in for that point.
Okay, yes, gracious.
I get such escalations, Fred, that a customer will call me directly and they don't have incident numbers and not ETs. So the best thing you do is you politely tell the customer the process of maybe the FE going to attend to them. I think the best way to do is to tell them that I'm going to request you to escalate to the team, the open for you an incident, and I'll come and attend to you. Okay. And please, if this customer has an FE's number and maybe you worked on that customer before, it's better you be the one to go and handle that customer, or else you can explain to them that you can call them back after that incident is opened. You can call them back and tell them they've opened an incident and my colleague is coming to attend to you. Yeah.
Maybe
Don't
just
tell
to
them,
spice
Fred.
Yes,
So
sir.
many times, of course, the FEs tell them, I don't have an incident, I can't come to attend to you. No. Just help them open an incident. And if you're maybe out of that cluster where you're supposed to attend to that customer, call them back and tell them an incident has been opened and so is coming to attend to you. And we should make sure that that person has gone to attend to that client. It's what we've been talking about, the respect, knowing how those customers feel. So just that, helping them to open an incident for them, it's makes them feel, they are served. It makes them feel comfortable with the way the fault is being handled. So maybe, Fred, we should, whenever we get those cases, the FEs can send the client's details to your NOC, then your NOC can engage data NOC so that those incidents are opened.
Okay, that's not it.
Okay, thank you, Fred. Thank you, Gracious. Kamia's hand is up. I think would also like to submit something. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much. Mine is just to also take us a little bit behind. I think a question wasn't raised. I'll look at the point of empathy. What happens in scenarios whereby empathy has failed to work out? If I'm to break it down, I've had a scenario whereby a customer locks you up at their premises. All they want is their service restored, but you try explaining to them that there's no way service is going to be restored without me going out to work on it. Problem is external, not internal. And all the customer tells you, I don't want to listen to anything, I want my service restored. Am I right to tell the customer, if you're not listening to me, please try something else? Am I accepted to also, in case they get physical, am I also accepted to mix them up? Yes, I just beg to be advised of that.
Okay, I'll take you back, Kamia, to that case. How did we handle it? Do you remember that client? How did we manage that client?
I think we went through the levels of escalation from my immediate supervisor, then to higher authorities that talk to the customer.
Okay. At the end of the day, team, the client is our boss. Okay. So whatever they decide, we have to respect. Okay. So for such a case, Emma, remember we have other teams outside that client's premises.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
yes, sir.
It's a matter of calling your supervisor, and we see how we can manage the situation. Because I remember that time I sent someone, and you troubleshooted with someone outside until the service was restored. So that's the best thing to handle such a situation. Because remember, they've locked you inside and you can't move out. They want their service up. So the only option is to get someone to engage another resource outside so that you can restore that client's service. That's the only solution, Emma. Otherwise, however much I'll talk to the client on phone, they've decided. And they are our boss.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Gracious.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gracious, for answering that. We had, okay, the hand is down. Chimoli had raised his hand. I don't know if you'd like to say something. Enrico.
About managing the customers, Mr. Gracious highlighted about those clients who called us directly. Remember, this client is expecting his internet to be up, but for you're telling him, please talk to customer care, first get an incident number. The client will get an incident number, then he shares it to us. Remember, we have to work on clients who are in queue. We first work on older clients before working on newer clients. So how will I be able to go and attend to him or tell him that I'm coming when I was assigned to first finish the older clients? Remember, this one has just come in. Mr. Gracious, throw some light there.
I think, thank you, Henry. It's very clear. I said, some of these clients, some of them, they don't know the process of opening or reporting their fiber phones. So that's why I requested that we support them to open these incidents, okay? Please don't tell them that call the customer care to get an incident number. Okay, that is like you're pushing them away. You're not owning the responsibility, what we've been talking about, okay? So just you owning that responsibility and supporting this client to get an incident number, okay, will satisfy this client that indeed I'm being what? Supported, okay? So, Henry, I say that's very clear. In case that incident is open and a TT is maybe open to your colleague, okay? Please call back this client, you, Henry, in particular, because the client called you. Call back that client and let them know that the incident has been open and my colleague is coming to attend to you, okay? If your colleague is busy and that incident is in maybe Paul's queue, please let Paul call that client and inform them that I've been given an incident and as in the middle of maybe troubleshooting another client, but give me maybe 2 hours, I'll be at your premises. It's the way you talk to these clients, okay? And if you promise 2 hours, please be there in 2 hours. If you can't be there in 2 hours, please call them back and inform them, I've been delayed by ABCD, but I'm going to come and attend to you. So it's the way we manage these clients that is most, it's important, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Gracious. I think this all goes back to how we communicate to the clients if we are maybe busy or if we have to log incidents or when they approach us. It all goes back to how we communicate to them. Because for a client, even for them to get a simple phone call and you tell them we've had your issue raised and someone is coming to help you, some clients it would mean a lot. But other than you keeping quiet and saying, I'm not going to raise this issue, I'm busy at the moment, you call, knock, and raise the issue, and then I come and work on you, it seems like you're neglecting them and you're not being responsible. So this also goes back to what James was taking us through, owning up. When someone asks if I'm busy, how do I handle this? First of all, you have to own up. You don't have to throw it in the face of the customer. We are busy at the moment. We have a lot of work to do. First, own up the issue, because at the end of the day, it is you restoring that internet. It is you giving that, supposed to maintain it. So when a customer comes complaining, they don't want to listen to you saying that I'm busy or I'm not, I have a lot of people to work on. So first own the issue. And if it has already been stated, you raise the issue with NOC, and then also promise them that I'm going to, and when you promise, you live up to your promises. Because if you tell them I'm going to come within 2 hours, like Precious mentioned, and you don't show up until the next day, next time they will never take your word. They don't trust you. They'll start saying, these boys, they lie, they don't come, and they will never trust your service. And when a customer doesn't trust you, they are going to look for some other options that they can't trust. So when a client calls you, no matter how busy you are, own up the issue, take responsibility of logging a ticket for them if they don't have a ticket, and you try and give them a time that is going to work, that is going to create a win-win. Works for you, works for the client. And if you give them a particular time, also be there to close this issue. So we move on to rule number 6. Let me read it. It is be friendly before you know who it is. There's a good lesson to be learned here. The telephone doctor motto is smile before you know who it is. It will earn you many classic customer service points. The customer needs to know you want to work with them no matter who they are. Remember, sometimes it's a way too late to smile and be friendly after you know who it is. So I think all could have fallen short of this. You see a client, recently I had some of the staff that sell this FTTH to people's homes, and staff was saying, I passed by some house, I didn't think they would buy, but after I was like, let me just go back. And in the going back, she noticed she actually picked a very good client who paid upfront very many months. So sometimes as people, we are biased. We don't know the people are dealing with. You reach a home and they're like, what will these ones do? They don't even know any manager. And we try to give them the service that is substandard because of the outlook or how we see them. But sometimes you don't know the people that you're dealing with. You don't know that these are actually the people maybe that could go to our supervisors. So you don't have to wait for you to know that someone knows a supervisor or someone knows someone for you to offer the quality service that they deserve. Let us all remember that these are all our customers. They all deserve good service because they are all paying money to get the service that they have. And that money is the one that also sustains us. So let's smile, let's give the customers equal service that is good and be able to make them feel valued, to make them feel loved. That is when they're going to be loyal to us. That is when they're going to keep on using our services. So don't wait for you to know, this one knows my supervisor, and then you're like, oh, I'm sorry, I could have done better if I had known you were this and this. Let's not wait to know who they are. Let us just have it in a whole shell that these are our clients and they deserve the best service. So thank you so much. I'm going to take you back to James and he will take us through the next session.
Thank you very much, Patricia. I hope we are still online. We started the team when we are in the excess of 20. I can see most of us have dropped off. I pray that we do not drop off because we are about to end. But the ending part is where it's most interesting because that's an area that we needed to close off. Now, this one, because I noticed one of us mentioned that they want to know how to deal with difficult customers. I'll begin it with a quote by Bill Gates, who says, your most unhappy customers are the greatest source of learning. Why? Because then these unhappy customers express, they show what they require, and they easily speak out what you need to improve. And when you're able to improve, then that means you're able to deliver good service. We have basically a number of customers that we deal with, but there are basically 4 types that I want us to talk about today. The first one is the emotional customer. You know, the emotional customer, the one who basically wants to vent and cry and express their emotions to you. I don't know if we've found such a customer in field. Now, for this customer, the best way to handle them is to acknowledge their feelings and their emotions. We normally tell people that emotionally connect with your customer. When you emotionally connect to this customer, you are in position to best see things from their view. So if you emotionally connect to this person, then that means you are going to position yourself to help. Listen to them actively. Active listening is a very difficult thing, but when you learn to actively listen to this customer, that means they will feel you've respected them. As you're listening to this customer, try to find a common ground. A common ground to come in and see what actually the customer requires you to do for them, and you promise to help. Now, one of the areas I normally tell people is that many of the times you are not the one who has caused this bad service, but try as much as possible to lay down the facts. When you lay down the facts, give the customer a plan of how you wish or how you're going to help them. Now, usually we have a challenge around the red flags. The customer is complaining about A. To appease them, you promise them to do for them things that are not within your mandate. Remember, we spoke about a balance. You find yourself going way too high, and then you cause an imbalance just because you want to manage the customer's emotions. Things like discounts, things like resolution timelines that are unrealistic, those don't normally help, because then if you promise to help a customer within the shortest time and you're not able to help them, you've not helped this person. Usually these emotional callers normally tend to respond or act by just getting off the service. So try as much as possible to manage these customers. They are the ones who easily get off service. The second area that we need to be very mindful of are the complainers. These are people who normally tend to just...
Maybe, James,
Yes.
I can maybe comment on the previous slide.
Yes.
I don't know if most of the FEs are still on the call. There was an incident where a certain engineer went to restore a service at a client's place, and they did substandard work. So when the link went off, they sent there another engineer. So when the engineer reached there, he told the client that I'm not the one who did this, so I'm going to tell my boss to send back the person who came to restore your service before. So that goes back to the ownership. Okay, it was bad the way this FE talked to this client or managed the situation. Okay, so I don't know, James, maybe you can give us more light what was supposed to be done. To me, I think this FE was supposed to apologize to the customer and promise the customer that all the issues are going to be rectified. Okay.
Wow, that is a very bad experience. Gracious. Now you see, that's why we go back to the aspect of ownership and responsibility.
Yes.
It also takes us
whether it's the other FE that came first. Now it is you owning up the responsibility. That FE that went back to restore a service.
And also to remind us, you remember, it does not need to take 2 people to provide good service. So I think this is where we dropped the ball. The same thing goes back to when the customer complains to you and tells you my issue, I am having an issue here, and then you have to tell the customer you've not logged their complaint. I work with a number of teams that does a fiber to home from the S&D side, and I see the guys very actively when a customer complains to them. Remember, these are salespeople. The customer complains, knows them, has them in the database. The customer will complain to them and tell them my network is down. I'm seeing a red light here, I don't have internet. And very actively, these guys call on the admin, post on the group, please, my customer is not having service. My customer is complaining they have already done this, and this is not happening. And guess what? They nag the admins, and those admins are forced to log incidents within the shortest time possible, because for them as salespeople, they don't have access to log those complaints. So what are we trying to say here? As field people, we do not have to pass the buck. We have to log it, take the responsibility, own the issue, and move on. Now, this is why we come to these customers. Sometimes these customers are emotional just because we were not able to help them in the first place. Most of the customers we are dealing with are people who are actually working from home, or these are people who are managing offices somewhere. Now imagine if their systems are down for like a day. It means they have lost business for literally a day. How best can we support these customers? We need to acknowledge their emotions, that actually they are right to be frustrated. So that goes back to us. Let us always remember one thing. That's why we said the service mentality, ownership, responsibility. When we do not take those into practice, or we don't show those, then that means we are failed in our delivery of work. So that's how we get into the position of the emotional customers. The second area is the complainer. Why would this person be a complainer? It could be that, yes, they are naturally complainers, but also it could be because we are failing to fulfill our promises. How do we handle this person? We need to listen to them. Let them speak. Let them voice. Let them vent. However, we should be able to acknowledge and empathize with them. Understand where they are coming from. Apologize for the bad service. But now you need to note that apologizing does not mean that you are blaming anyone or you are taking on the blame. The customer is literally telling you, I am not happy with your service. You promised you're going to have this issue resolved within the last 2 hours. It's now almost a day. So we need to be at a point where we give these customers time to speak. One of the things that we normally ask people to do is to thank these customers for complaining. Let me tell you one thing as service providers. When a customer complains, that gives us a reason as to why we are needed. Now, if the customer does not complain or everything is well, how shall we then have service? Field engineers, if every customer is happy, are you needed? Definitely not. So let's treat these customers as an opportunity for us to serve. Remember to always promise to help these customers, because if you do not promise to help, or you seemingly don't look to be helpful, this customer will look for something else or someone else to provide service. And remember to always give these people timelines. Usually the timelines are supposed to be within the context of the mean time to resolve and the mean time to close the complaint. If you're able to do that, this customer will buy in and will be able to help you. The complaining customer is basically telling you, I am not happy with your service. The first person did not serve me well, and now you have come into my space. That means you're also going to do the same thing. You're not going to serve me. And guess what? The customer will not be happy with you. Then guess what? If you don't help this customer, it will move into the third level. The customer will become irate. These are customers, when they even see you in their compound, they want to release for you the dogs. These are customers who want to literally slap you and maybe take you on or arrest you. I have had situations where an enterprise business staff was actually welcomed, and they released dogs on this guy. And then guess what? The customer said this person trespassed. And this person is like, this customer was not happy because their service was not delivered within time. So the customers punished me by releasing the dogs. Why? Because they were not served in the first place. So as we try to manage this as field engineers and as NOC people, let's try to create an environment that works for us by not allowing our customers to become irate. But even if you're meeting an irate customers, there are basically 5 guidelines to this. You remember to remain calm throughout the conversation. 2, let it be known to you that they have the right to vent. So let them express their emotions. Do not cut them. Do not belittle them. Do not try to underlook or demean whatever they're trying to complain about. However, in the heat of that conversation, find the right moment to voice your concern, to express your acknowledgement of their issues, and to offer support. Do not engage in counter-arguments. Remember, the customer is king. By you trying to counter-argue this customer or to demean or to try and make yourself the righteous one is not going to help the situation. And remember, do not cut the customer down. Do not belittle them. The idea you should have in mind is not to make the customer feel bad, but rather to make them feel respected and that you're going to help them. When you're able to do that, you'll find yourself able to handle any form of customer. Remember, do not underlook this customer. This customer is king. The 4th type of customer that you always find is the customer who is the I know more. I think you've met these customers who normally tend to be even more technologically advanced and well knowledgeable. How are you going to deal with this customer? These are customers who will tell you, I know anyone, I know that CEO of MTN, I know the CEO of Soliton, I know the manager of Soliton, I know your boss. And truth is, they know them. How do you deal with these customers? The most important thing is I normally tell people, let the customer be who they are. When they tell you that I am a doctor, respect them. They are special, and that's who they are. When you go to the Lord Mayor's office and he tells you I'm the Lord Mayor, address them as the Lord Mayor. They are special. Give them their throne because they are the king. The first thing we need to always remember is that you need to let these customers know that you are actually competent and qualified to support them. It doesn't matter. I think I was looking at one of the things that was happening during the census, where you find that the directors going to be the ones to visit and take account of the top people in government, the president, the speaker. It was literally not right. But because they needed to treat these people as very special, we end up having the directors going to meet these people. But the most important thing is that we need to remind ourselves that we are qualified to handle any customer. We need to assure them and we need to behave as one. If you know you cannot be able to resolve the customer's issue, try to engage your line of support. Advise them that yes, you're going to get the support and you're going to resolve. It's not important for them to be engaging the CEO or the manager to be able to resolve their issues. Give them that assurance and make sure that you address their issues thoroughly. Addressing the issues thoroughly will get them to a point where they believe you as an expatriate and in position to resolve. Remember one thing. If the guy is your king, give them their throne. Give them their special status. And remember, these customers will always remember you for the way you treated them. We have basically 4 types of customers that you're going to have. We are going to share these notes that you can read through. Very simple guidelines. You will be able to resolve the most of the difficult customers without taking away their throne. I know time is not our best ally. That's why I've moved a little fast. But we would like to go to the last area that Patricia is going to take you through and that's around elevating your professional image, ethics, and presentation. Patricia, before Patricia comes in, she will take you through, and then afterwards we shall ask a few questions. No, we shall take a few questions, and then we can call it a day. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, James. So this is the last part, and I'm going to go through this also fast. Our time is running out. So next part is elevating your professional image, ethics, and presentation. And so we need to go through these 3 questions first. And one volunteer can help us read as you answer. Anyone from the team? Let's hear from Isaac. Yes, please. Please go ahead, Emmanuel. Emmanuel, kindly go ahead. I think it was yes, please. Yeah. What do you wear? Okay. Can you go through very fast with the answers? What is that that you wear that identifies you? Like how we go to a hospital and you see a doctor in a white coat and you're like, okay, that's the doctor or that's the nurse. What is that special clothing that you put on? Mm. 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 Okay. What does your personal image mean to you? Mm. Okay. Mm. Okay. All right. And yes, please. Mm. Mm. Okay. And why is your dress code important to you as an engineer? Mm. 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 Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, Emmanuel, thank you for describing to us what we wear. Do we all take the initiative to make sure that we are in those work clothes before we step out to an environment to meet a client? Do always ensure that you have the safety gears on, we have the overalls, we have caps. We always ensure that we do that, because that's also part of identification. If a client is going to look at you moving smartly or in a suit or even very shabby in sandals, in maybe shorts, they will not take you seriously. They will think maybe these are people who are coming to rob our homes. So, team, do take the initiative to make sure that we are identified by what we wear in the first place. First impression. Do we do that? From Kamia, Emmanuel, do we do that when we are going out to the field? Kamia, do you belong to the field or to NOC?
I belong to the field.
Okay. Do you always ensure that when I'm going, they will look at me and know, okay, an engineer has come to work on this, for them not to first ask what has brought you here, for them not to have those doubts?
I believe it's a yes or no answer, but is it fine if I expounded it based on my explanation?
Please do.
One, I feel like yes, we do, but the perception of our dress code, I feel like this standard, there are predetermined standards that were already set how we are supposed to dress. but these standards were not put in specific. Okay, they were not put up basing on the kind of work someone does. Now, our kind of job involves two sides of the equation. One involves customer presentability, going to a customer's premises, and then two, it involves the actual field work, dirty work, entering manholes, climbing poles, doing all that noise. So now here I am. People are going to wake up and they set a standard of dress code. They're like, hey, you're supposed to be with safety shoes and this and this. Yeah. So I'm going to put on that, leave home, get to field and work. I enter manhole, get dirty, shabby. Same place. Then I am the very person that is supposed to be moving to the next customer. I don't know if you get my.
I do.
If I remove those safety boots and put them in the car and put on my pair of sandals that I have in the car and went to the customer, when I'm a little presentable and I know my sandals are clean, introduce myself. Would I be breaching the dress code since I'm supposed to be putting on the full PPE wear? Or am I doing something right that I've changed my attire to put on something that is presentable? Now, when I get to field work, I put on the field attire.
Okay. Yes, please. Yes, Emmanuel. Can I go ahead?
Please.
Okay. So let me give you an instance. For example, if you go to the hospital and you're going to meet maybe a doctor, and this doctor comes walking into the office in sandals, in shorts, do you take them serious?
No, I wouldn't.
So we might not put on the full PPE because maybe you are not going to, sometimes like you said, you're going to actually understand the problem. But let's have those special qualities that separate us from the other people that are coming to do other things. So you're not going to, for example, walk into a client's home, putting on your casual wear, your sandals. They might not take it serious.
Okay.
Yeah. So every time you have to meet a client, let's have that professional look on us. It might not call for everything that you have gloves, you have overalls, no, but let's have the professional look for someone to easily say, okay, this is an engineer. And we know nowadays homes are no longer as safe as it used to be. So sometimes they might even refuse to open for you. Haven't you had cases where you want they actually not open the gate for you?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so let's have that outlook that speaks for us. That even when they see us, they'll be like, oh, these are engineers. And also the identification, I think I'm going to talk about that also briefly. Then also the personal image, Emmanuel explained to us what it means to them. This is a personal image is what do you put out there? Are you giving them the image of, for example, you walking in very shabby in sandals? What image are you trying to speak to the customers? What image do they pick out when you come and you're rude, you're not going to listen to them, you do your work and you just walk away? Let's have that personal branding. I talked about it earlier that you reach out a client's home and they'll be like, no, I want to work with another person, not you. So meaning sometimes the image that we create in front of customers, it is something that we need to work on. Personal image comes in forms of how do you approach customers, how are you dressed, how do you look, and this all is going to affect how the clients perceive us. Then also, why is your dress code important as an engineer? I think that's what we are also trying to explain. That is when they give you access, they give you the necessary support for you to be able to support them also. But if you're going to come looking at someone maybe coming to do other things in the home that I don't want to talk about, they're not going to give you the right reception. So let's try and brand ourselves personally for us to easily be known. Oh, let's give respect to this person, because the first impression that you give them is going to matter how much they work with you. Let's avoid walking into people's homes the way we were because you're from field, from working on some cable, the way you pick your things up or whatever way you're dressed, it's how you're going to go into another person's home. It is going to kind of infect the personal image that we pass on to them. Let's try to be very presentable, and also, like we described first in what engineers wear, let's have that so that customers don't have the doubts in the kind of work that you are going to do for them. Then lastly, we are going to go through this very fast. It is the 10 notes of a field engineer. Unfortunately, this doesn't cover NOC, but some could cut across. Number one is always ensure proper presentation, identification, and documentation. When you reach a client's premises, make sure that you have the correct ID. If you have maybe their incident number, you could give it to them for them to actually know that you've come from MTN. I think that's how they perceive you. Do they know about the Soliton part? Or they know you've come from MTN to fix internet. So have the proper documentation, have the right identification for the client to know where you're coming from. Some clients are very, very strict, others do not just care, but for you to identify yourselves, they are going to build more trust in what you're going to do. The presentation also takes about how we look. Let's not walk with sandals. Let's not walk into customers' homes looking in any way that we want. Excuse me. Then number two is seek a client's permission to access their property. When you reach the gate, of course, you identify yourself. I'm so and so. I'm coming from this and this. Let's not just reach and start doing our work before we tell them who we are, because this could pass on danger to you. Some people could harm you thinking maybe this is a thief or something. So when we are going to access the premises, seek for permission, tell them why you are there, and identify yourself with the proper IDs, proper documentation for the client to fully trust you before you start doing something on their home. And then number three is stick to the time agreed, and it should be within acceptable hours. We talked before about giving customers time frames. If you have told a customer, I'll be getting back to you within 2 hours, at least if you are unable to make it within those 2 hours, try and call them, mention for them to know that you're actually trying to work on them. Call them, apologize. I'm very sorry I'm not able to make it within the given 2 hours, but I'm trying my best to be there within an hour. So if we are not able to meet our deadline, please follow up with a call so that the client knows you're actually having them on your list, other than going silent, and when they start calling you, it irritates you. So let's try and meet our deadlines as much as possible, the hours that we have given the client. But in case we are not able to, please inform them timely that you're not going to be there. Sometimes you could call a client, excuse me, and they cancel the program they have because you're coming over. And then after 2 hours, you're not coming 3, 4, 5. And they could have done something more important. Or it could be a work issue, like James stated, some people are working from home and you're delaying them for all those hours. So let's try to respect that. And also within the acceptable hours, you're not going to walk into someone's home at midnight just because you are busy the whole day. Let's also know what hours are acceptable for our own safety and for the safety of the client. Then also state the purpose and stick to the purpose of the visit. You've come to understand the issue. You've come to diagnose the issue. Please do that. Diagnose the issue. If you've come to fix maybe internet, please fix internet. Let us not go to other things. I know some of us, we are young people. We are still growing. We could reach and maybe you see someone you like and return the visit into something else. Some of us reach in clients' homes, they give us drinks, they give us eat. Sometimes the drinks are alcoholic. And we sit and drink and we even forget about the other clients. So let us try as much as possible to stick to the purpose of the visit. Otherwise, you don't know the people that you're dealing with. What if you're poisoned or something? So let's try and be as professional as possible. If you know you're going to work on a cable, if you know you're going to check on how the internet is, please let's stick to that and we avoid other areas of distraction. Number 5, offer additional help, cross-sell, upsell. If they're moving, maybe the speeds that they are on are lower, you could advise them to go for higher speeds if they're complaining that the internet is slow. You could add that additional information. It could be very important both for you and for the company. So sell internet that is maybe faster. Tell them maybe to use a particular package that will work for them better, maybe because of the numbers that are on. So let's use every engagement with a customer as a chance for us to sell to them what we offer. Resolve client's issue at first call. That is FCR, which means first call resolution. Let's not wait for the customer to call very many times. Like I think Gracious is the one who talked us through some story where someone went and did substandard work. When you do substandard work, first of all, you're wasting the customer's time, you're wasting your time, you're wasting the resources of the company, because there's fuel involved, there's transporting you. That's a whole day gone, and we have to repeat the whole process the next day to make things right. So when you have a chance to work on a customer, make sure that that is all. Do everything you can within that first point of contact, so that you don't have to waste a lot more resources and time. Try and work on the customer the very first time that the issue is raised to you. Then clean up after yourself. Go and fix maybe a few cables here and there, and there are a lot of wires, you just leave them there and walk away. So every time you are it's like going to your office and you just eat and leave the things on the table. It's not right, because that's your work, it's not the client's work. So every time you go to a client premises and you've fixed wires, you've done everything, please make sure you clean up, pick up those things, ask them where they throw the rubbish, and make sure you leave the place clean. It creates it's just a good image for you and for the company. Then don't be afraid to set boundaries and don't make promises you can't keep. We talked about promises, that if it is 2 hours, let it be 2 hours. If you know you might not be able to make it within 2 hours, give a reasonable time that you're not going to end up lying to the customer. Then also setting boundaries. I know some clients, you might go and tell you, please eat. Don't go without eating. And it seems like, please tell them professionally, I'm not accepted to do this, and please, I cannot. So even when the clients are very coercive, and let's have the boundaries set for us to appear more professional. Let's not just go because a client has begged me to do this, then I have to do it, and it is wrong. Kindly don't. Then remember the no gift policy. The no gift policy is you're not supposed to take money from a client even when they offer it just because you helped them. No, you are paid to help that client, and you are paid for that service that you're offering. The client is already paying you, so there's no need to take money from them. So when they go and sometimes you work and they're like, what are you giving me? You might not ask it directly, but indirectly, but it's not a right thing to do. Let us be very professional. This person might give you money and go and report to your supervisor, which will look so bad, even when they don't report. Yes,
Yes, we've had 2 cases on that point where maybe a client just thanked an engineer for restoring their service, and it happened that the next day the service went down. So this customer called the senior manager in MTN, and he told her that he paid the engineer to restore his service, and the service went down again. So when I asked this engineer, he told me that the customer just thanked him for restoring the service. So I think the team need to be careful on this particular point.
Yes. I think as per MTN, the no gift policy starts from 50,000. 50,000. If you receive 50,000 from a client, you're supposed to declare it. However, a client is not supposed to give you any money, any gift, unless it is branded. So every time you go to a client and someone gives you money, like Gracious has said, you're going to work on this thing, tomorrow it will be down. And now it's more like they're holding you accountable because of the money they paid you. They feel like you should actually be there. So let's try as much as possible to avoid this, because also our client MTN is very strict about the gift policy. Something very strict is something we have let very many people go because of. So let's not take money from clients. We are paid to do that. Then do not ask do ask your clients for feedback. That's number 10. Every time you work on a client, you could call them. You have airtime. I'm sure the company gives you airtime. Make a follow-up call. Is the internet stable now? I was there yesterday. Are you okay? Are you able to, maybe if they noted a certain area, you can ask about it. Are you able to do this and that? Are you able now to view? Are you able now to use internet for this and these users? Let's try and follow up for a client, they're going to feel hard even when you help them. That follow-up service, it adds a lot of value to the relationship that you have with the client. So I think that's it. I'm sorry we had to rush through the last presentation because we're running out of time. So we're going to open up for questions in case we have any before we go off. Thank you so much for listening in, for everyone who's still on. Let's take up some questions if you have any.
Okay, this is Gracious. Once again, I want to log off. I want to thank the Exquisite team for this good training. And to the team, this training, please take it serious. It is not a waste of time. We requested for it because of too many complaints that were coming from the customers. So, Fred, I'll request you share this presentation to each and every engineer so that they can find time and read through these slides. And going forward, please, everyone is going to be accountable. Okay?
Thank you very
Fred,
much.
yes, the Fred and Soliton team, please, thank you so much for this training. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Gracious. Patricia, mine just under 1 minute is, of course, to thank you for making the time to train us. You and the team, Carol, and I think, is it Patrick? James. Please, guys, thank you so much for making the time to train us. I hope that now this can now have a different picture to the client. And of course, to my team, I've always emphasized that the actual marriage is in the maintenance of clients. The business we are in is a referral business. There is no amount of marketing MTN is going to do that is going to convince people outside there. The person to convince me is my neighbor. MTN service is good. Just one word of MTN service is bad, don't bother. Even if they send the president to come to that client's home, they will not take up the service. So you are our ambassadors. How you take yourself, how you treat the customers, that is the ultimate marketing we need. Because in that case, we're going to get more and more customers. 90% of the guys getting the business is a referral basis. I know of MTN. Very few of them look on CTV adverts. Very few. It is my neighbor has, my neighbor, a friend of a friend of a friend, my mom, my dad, my cousin has the service. It is good. I want to try it. But what happens? They come and meet a one field engineer who torments them. Initial engagement of a client and an MTN is only when they are doing the paperwork for marketing. They will send one nice looking nyabo and maybe a gentleman. That will be the first time engagement. The actual marriage and where the party is in the maintenance of these customers. This is not the long term, the referral. So I implore us members, if this FTTH business is to work, it will be because of you, nothing else. So I beg that we continue pushing. Let's respect and all the other points that I've mentioned here, the customers, so that we can grow this business and also improve our image. And that is it from me and Soliton team. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the remarks. We're going to share this feedback, these slides to everyone. Whatever we've discussed today is not something that is new, but we should take it as our standard. Then, if at all we contravene them, then they will engage us to ask us, weren't you trained? So these were basics, but we need to take note of them. Thank you very much, team. I also hand you back to our team lead here to close.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being an engaging class. I hope and pray that we've learned all that has been shared today. And if you have any questions, any further questions, please feel free to reach out to any of us, Fred, myself, Gracious, and we shall guide. If you have challenges that you feel you can't handle yourself, always engage your supervisor, always engage your manager. I'm not saying that, well, maybe they're not in position to guide, to see the physical, I don't know, happenings of wherever you are, but I'm sure they will be in a better position to guide you on how to go about certain scenarios and certain happenings as they are happening, so that you keep a good image, your name is clean, the company's name is clean, and at the end of the day, that is what we want. That is what's best for us. That's what's best for Soliton, and that's what's best for MTN. So at this point, I think since we don't have any other questions, I'd like to say that the training session has been ended, and thank you all for attending. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.